Well, if you are new to gardening, you may not know there are different types of flowers. Last week we planted annuals, delicate flowers that can't handle frost. On the other hand, perennials can handle the cold and come back every year. Good evening, Northern Michigan. We're here at our flower garden, not the annual flower garden we just planted last week, but the perennial flower garden we planted last year. Now, it's a little different position. Things have changed a little bit, but joining me, Justin and Andrea, and so far, you know, considering the season, it's going great so far.
Yeah, things are looking really good. The bed looks good. We do tell people if your bed has settled, you know, make sure that you don't come in with a dairy dew, you come in with the flower dew 201. As last year we maybe cut some of these flowers down, that takes a lot of the nutrient out of the soil that we had in there. So now we would come back in, if it had settled down to like 2 inches, we'd use a flower dew to help give that love back to it. If it hasn't and you just want to put some more nutrient back in there, some biologicals and some organic matter, we would use the dairy dew for that. Okay. So just a little bit goes a long ways, maybe even a 1/4 inch, and just scratch that in.
That's all it takes, just a touch of it.
Just a touch of it across the whole bed. And then what we tell people to do is we take the Healthy Garden and then you would sprinkle that around, and that's a 765 with a 5% calcium, and you'd sprinkle that around the bottom of the plant, and that's really what the nutrient is to help make those shoot and grow.
A little extra burst here and there.
Yeah, a little extra food for it. Yep.
Now, Andrew, we did plant these for like pollinators. It's a key thing for our plants, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Considering that, you know, this is kind of in the middle of both our vegetable beds and our annual flower beds, but also because we have a community garden over here and then our fruit trees behind it. So this is kind of actually like a key component to our little area here to attract pollinator bees so that we can have healthy fruits, but then also happy vegetables as well.
So they all work together to make a very nice environment.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Justin, now we could put down the dairy dew, the Healthy Garden, but is there a quicker way?
Yeah, so you can come in with the bloom blaster. They start growing. You can use this. Do not water with this, right? Water your beds in separately, and then use this as a fertilizer. And you could just over your plants, crisscross it 3 to 5 seconds. Just give it that nutrient that it needs. And then if you have some hanging baskets left over from Mother's Day, you could spray your hanging baskets with this also. Again, not to water, but as a crisscross for a food.
So we're talking like a quick burst, a couple seconds, and that's it, right? For one day or every day? How often?
Once every 2 weeks, a bloom blaster will work.
So a short blast for just a couple of weeks.
That's right.
All right, perfect. And hopefully it'll help out. A couple of our plants look a little questionable right now. We're going to see if they get a little boost with the extra water and maybe a little bloom blaster as well. Of course, you know what? Things looking good overall. The vegetables are growing. Our flowers looking good too. We're getting there. How about eventually the trees? You know, apple trees. We planted a cherry tree last year as well. We'll talk more about that next week.